Something big is coming, folks. Something so earth-shattering that it's literally going to reshape the reality in which we know now. Now, I ask you seriously, how many times have you heard that same exact claim or prediction? Or better yet, how many times have you fallen for it? Now let's talk about some historical examples of what I'm referring to here. Just some off the top of my head. Mad cow, killer bees, or better yet, one of my personal favorites, Y2K, a certified fresh for millennials. Now I remember as a kid when all of this was going on during the Y2K craze, the hype and the fear surrounding it. People turned it into a blank canvas of, whatever type of fear-mongering thing I can plaster on this canvas, that's what I'm going to put on there. Doomsday, technological crash, whatever it may be, and we all saw how that turned out. It was a nothing burger. But as a kid, I got caught up in that fear. And I imagine a lot of grown adults got caught up in that as well. And sometimes I think about that as an adult, how I would respond to that with all that I know now, right? Would I be of select few of people who would be able to see, between the cracks that the probability of this turning out the way that they said it would be less than zero? Or would I fall for it? It just depends on how well they sell it. Which brings me to the topic of the psychology of sensationalism. What makes stuff like this so darn entertaining? And that's really it, is it's entertainment. It takes us out of the monotony of our normal, everyday lives. Some people, when they want to take a break from reality, people have all sorts of things that they like to take part in. Sometimes it's things that are destructive. Sometimes it's things that are productive. And sometimes it's something in the middle. Sometimes people want to, take a load off by watching TV, watching a movie, playing video games, playing music. And another element that I can add to this, that plays into the sensationalism of this is when someone is gracious enough to provide a specific date to which this event is going to occur. That is a beautiful thing because it gives something for people to look forward to. But what do we see? We wait for the date comes, and then nothing ever happens, right? And for some folks, they keep falling into the same trap over and over and over again. It becomes a dopamine hit, like the ultimate dopamine hit. But for others who are mindful and aware of stuff like this, they see it the first time around, the first time the prediction's made, and after that one flops, they say, you know what? Nope, I'm no longer invested. You've lost all credibility. And I don't blame people for that. But it makes you wonder, what is really the true distraction? I talk a lot about that in my videos. I talk about what a true distraction is versus a non-true distraction. Everything going on in the world today happening all at once, and people say that because they're talking about something over here that it's obviously a distraction. But here's the kicker. The real distraction is us. It is ourselves. It's ourselves. We distract ourselves more than TV, social media, and anything else that we could ever imagine. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we are the ones that decide to divert our attention elsewhere onto something that we find more stimulating or entertaining, but not necessarily productive. So I'll leave you with this. When you hear about these claims or these predictions, I challenge you to be mindful and practice discernment in this. Take notes, be a nerd about it. Take notes before it happens, if you're given a specific date, and take notes after it happens. And hold yourself accountable. Don't fall into the trap of falling for this 1,000,000 times over, because it's simply not productive. But take notes. When somebody makes the claim, just sit back and observe. Get the best seats in the house. Stop sitting front row. Stop sitting front and center with it and being so invested and embedded in it. Get all the way up there. Get in the tower and watch it. Get the best seats in the house and see it for what it truly is. And then you can make a better and more clear-headed assessment about what you're seeing. Now, make no mistake, I'm human like the rest of you. And I have stuff that I hear about that I latch on to. One in particular that I'm actually looking forward to. And I'll say no more than the star of Regulus aligning with the Sphinx. I look forward to it. But are my expectations of it so high that I could end up duping myself? Well, no. Because I've seen others like this before, and I'm prepared for whatever it may be. And I say that honestly. I am truly prepared. But that's what I'll leave you with. Be mindful of these things. Don't fall into the trap. Take notes. Hold yourself accountable. And enjoy the show.